Rich, a few days on from that defeat to Oldham now, what are your thoughts on how that one went now?
Yeah, look, it was an improved performance than from the Barra game. We moved the ball about a lot more than what we did in that game, which was happy. Occasionally too much in yardage, which sent us a little bit lateral, but we can tidy that up moving forward. But it's another close game that we haven't come on the winning side of, and we spoke about that last season where we had far too many of them games, and they're creeping in again already.
We mentioned it on Sunday, but there were moments of real quality, especially that last 20 minutes. It's just kind of about putting it together over the 80, isn't it?
Yeah, look, and that's down to having a fair bit of ball and holding on to the ball and getting the basics of the game right. Dropping the ball up, play the balls. Talking back to the ref when you've got the ball and losing it. All them sort of put a lot of pressure on you defensively and offensively. So we just need to smarten up and get that right this week.
With that only been a week on from that Barra defeat, it shows in terms of performance that we have taken steps in the right direction.
Yeah, look, we moved the ball a lot better. We was more of a threat with the ball in hand, which we asked them to be, which I didn't feel that we were against Barra. We didn't throw enough, shape or ask them really to defend. But I felt that we did when we had the opportunity to do it. I thought early on Oldham were very good. They got back-to-back sets, in repeat sets and put us under pressure, and it sort of took its toll. And it took sort of 4 sets on our line for us to concede, and it was on the last tackle play, and it was a soft one really, which is disappointing. But yeah, we are moving forward as a group, but we can't keep saying that. We're 8 rounds in now. We can't take a couple of steps forward and then a couple back. We need to keep that progression now and move forward into the Halifax game.
Right at the end, we obviously had that play where Watson's just offside. How agonising is that?
Yeah, look, it is frustrating. Another step back and he gets that right, and we're looking at probably a draw or a win, and with some happy faces. But at the moment, where we are in the table and the teams above us starting to pull away, this weekend's a really important one for us.
On to this weekend then, Halifax away. What are you expecting from that challenge?
Look, they're a quality team. They're very well drilled at the moment, completing high, putting teams under pressure and taking their opportunities when they come. So he's getting a good performance out of the full team. And yeah, look, defensively we can't afford to have players off like we did at weekend, and we've got to get it right.
Just looking back to last season when we went there, it was probably one of our more difficult afternoons of the season. We don't want to repeat that, do we?
Look, no, they're a quality team. For us, the challenge is we've only beat one team that's above us in the table so far this season. So there's the challenge straight away for the boys. We need to be getting results against these teams that are higher than us. We've got the ability, we've got the team to do it. It's just the performance needs to be there.
You only need to look at the league table to see how strong a start they've had to the 2025 season. We're going to have to be right at it, aren't we?
Yeah, look, they are. They've started really well. New coach, some new ideas, and it looks like they've all bought into it, and they're performing well. So yeah, look, it's going to be a big challenge, but one that we're looking forward to.
Obviously, they have had that strong start, but coming off of last weekend, they had that bruising to lose. It's going to be a game where both teams are looking for a response, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. It's not an easy place to go in to lose. You've got the travel. You've got a lot of things to overcome to get a quality performance in down there. Not many teams go there and do that, so it's probably one where they're not going to beat themselves up about. They had a good result against London, previously, so for them, it's probably just a bit of a wake-up call for them, on a few areas probably, but no so more for us as well. We've got to tidy up defensively. We can't afford them, individual errors that are hurting us if we're going to go there and get the result.
We obviously don't want to give too much away going into this weekend. Last week we obviously saw Paulie and Miski back. How are we looking as a squad generally?
Yeah, fingers crossed. We lost Baldy in warm up, which is never ideal. But I thought Miski came on, probably had one of his best performances for us in a Don shirt. So Yeah, great to see him back out there after again picking up a bit of a quad injury. Again, having Polly back out there, he's just big. He's a presence. He's hard to handle. It takes a couple of bodies to bring him down, takes some juice out of him, and hopefully helps us create on the back of that. So it's always good when you get boys returning. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get an assessment on Baldy and it's not too bad and he's available for selection this week.
Another break after this, and we've got that 3 week. It'd be nice to into that on a high, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it always is. It's a long time, a long 2 weeks if you don't get the results. So look, we'll prepare well. The boys, we've spoke about it going into the break, so they don't have to leave anything in the tank. They can just go hard and see where the weekend goes.